Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing very well on this Wednesday night. To my left, probably to your right, we've got Nathaniel from Two Hall and Back podcast. So good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having me on.
Yes, Nathan, how are you doing?
Doing all right. Probably better than a lot of Forest fans after the result on Tuesday night. And
Yeah,
looking forward to an very interesting summer at the club.
I mean, for us guys, it'd be a lot more different because obviously we've got two more games. But for you guys, how you think about Saturday's game? Because I imagine that you guys will be looking to be preparing for next season.
Yeah, I mean, we can't finish any higher than we are, and we're 18th at the moment. And I actually almost want us to lose because I predicted us to finish 19th. So, and we've been 19th all year pretty much since about October. So I want us to lose so we can go down a place so I can be right, which would be nice. But it's a good season. We've done just about enough, and we've got new owners, new backing in the summer. So really, these last 4 or 5 games uh, have been a bit odd because we've been pretty much safe for a while now, and we're just waiting for the season to end so we can get some new players in. So the the players are on the beach, I think, after we lost 5-0 to Bristol City. So part of us, or part of me, just wants the season to be over, really. Not because it's been awful, but because we're hoping next season will be even better.
1-1.
Are you having
I've got
difficulties?
another one on that side. um, so obviously you said that you got new owners. I mean, how does that feel about you guys having new owners?
I think everyone's really happy, not only just because we hated the old owners so much, the Alam family. We've been protesting for years against them since they wanted to change their name back in like 2013 or 2014. So it's been a long, hard struggle, and we've gone down to League One, which after being in the Premier League was a really bad moment 2 years ago when we got relegated. But we're happy that we got a new owner, and we're even more happy that the owner we've got is so good, seemingly. We've had a lot of interviews with him, and he seems like a real, proper, sensible, but eccentric football fan first and foremost. Is really passionate Fenerbahce fan, and if we'd gone down, we wouldn't be happy because, of course, we would have thought, oh, maybe because things were going well under Grant McCann halfway through the season. Maybe we'd have thought, well, maybe that disrupted our momentum if we'd gone down, but we've stayed up. We're going to spend a little bit of money, or more than we had been under the Alams in the summer, so we're looking forward to that. There's going to be a free holiday to Turkey for, I think, 500 City fans. So if people are in the pot for that, they'll be looking forward to that. And I think the atmosphere around the club is the best it's been since arguably maybe 2015 or something, or maybe when we got promoted to the Premier League the last time. But even then, we had a lot of issues with the owners. But at the moment, the fans are back, and a lot of people are feeling a bit more united with the club now.
I was going to say it seems like forever since. I always remember thinking it was the sort of time when you guys and Charlton fans sort of had a thing against the owners. So I can
Mm.
imagine it been a while since Finney, and obviously we nearly had that before our current owners came aboard because obviously we would literally needed to win against Ipswich to stay up, and I think if we wouldn't have stayed up, then we wouldn't have the owners who we got now. So
Mm.
I mean, completely agree with you on how you feel because we've been in that same position like it was only 5 years ago.
Yeah, and we've stayed up now, so hopefully we can kick on, and maybe in a few years we'll be as good as Forest are at the moment.
Definitely. I mean, obviously Forest beat Hull earlier in the season. I mean, would you be expecting that sort of like team that played that day against us? Or I mean, I haven't really watched Hull since then. But how you not been doing that in terms of like how Grant can get you to play?
Well, I mean, when Forest beat us in about December, was it, or January or something? We just recently switched to three at the back or five at the back, and since we did that in about October, we've been on almost playoff form since then, almost or like mid-table form. So I guess we're in that way because the start of the season was so terrible. We are a better side than our position says, I guess, because of the form of the last kind of 2/3 of the season. Um, there have been a few changes because we've had a few signings and we've got a new owner and a new manager since the game against Forest at the start of the season. So the lineup will be essentially the same, but I mean, it's very difficult to predict because our home form has been really terrible. Um, but that seems to have switched now. We've lost the last two away games and won our last two at home. So hopefully, our home form is better now, and we'll be able to finish the season on a high. But I mean, I remember the Forest game. We were a little unlucky to lose. I think you did deserve to win, but we played pretty well that day, and I think that was just around the time Steve Cooper came in. So I think it'll be there's less riding on it now, especially for both clubs. We're safe, and you're probably going to be, or you'll just be third or fourth, which isn't a huge difference. So I guess it might just be, Forest wanting to keep form for the, going into the playoffs, and we'll want to finish the season well in front of our fans. But um, because we haven't really got much to play for, and Forest are in such good form, I think you'll have enough to win. But you never really know on the last day of the season. Anything could happen.
I mean, football's a funny game.
Hmm.
You probably know that it's some of the things that has happened in football. It's unreal, unreal. I mean, I always remember that whole game because I know think we went to three at the back, and then I can't think one of our centre halves got injured. I can't remember to if I tell me if I was one, guys, in the chat. But I mean, I think we brought Martin on, then we brought someone else on, and it just changed the game that second half. I think we went
Hmm.
to a 4-2-3-1, and that sort of Cooper ball that started to affect us a lot more because we were just getting used to how Cooper like us to play now. So I mean, I think I always remember it because I think you guys just like stopped us playing, which I mean, we didn't really have the plan B, plan C as much as we do now. So
Hmm.
it is a lot more like different to what it was like 4 months ago.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I remember that we scored the first goal against the run of play, and if we hadn't given away a sloppy penalty, we might have gone on to the win or get a draw. But second half, you were much better. Do you feel like with the season, because you've been so good recently, was it 7 wins out of 8 or something? Do you just feel a bit, disappointed that you didn't hire Steve Cooper just 2 or 3 games earlier, and then things might have been different?
It was one of them ones. I mean, we've not long got Dave Murphy and we got that punt against Derby, and there was just that bit of uncertainty at that time, thinking, will Dave Murphy give him that chance to actually winning who we wanted for that Western Orders? But a lot of us thought that he should have gone after that Derby game, but
Hmm.
obviously he did. And I think if he would have, if Cooper would have came in them 2 games earlier, it might have made a massive difference. But I mean, I see where they Murphy coming from because they didn't want to sack him after what 8 games by then 9 games because we had 2 cup games as well. So I sort of see why he didn't do it. But I think if he would have sacked him earlier, it would have been a lot more closer to call going into the
Hmm.
game and sack. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Hmm. It's still been a good season for Forest, though, hasn't it? I think this will be the
Oh, I
highest you
think
finish for a while, right?
it's been the highest finish since Billy Davies' first time in his first
Mm.
full season. I mean, we were third then, going into playoffs. So, I mean, it's been a cracking season, don't get me wrong. I mean, to see how we started and how things just been snowballing, I mean, we just got better and better as the season got on. I mean, it's just been magnificent. I mean, I think we lost two out of nine now after last night's result. I mean, we lost Luton, lost Bournemouth, and I think going into Saturday now, because obviously what happened last night with the result, obviously expectation will be a lot more different, and the biggest debate for us will be team news because it will be like, will we be playing as one? Yes. Will we give other players a chance? Do we want to finish third? It's a lot of uncertainty going into Saturday's game now because
Mm.
we wouldn't really know what sort of team Cooper want to put out. Will he give like the squad players the game to see who he wants or don't want, or will we go full strength, or will we go one or two changes? Then probably look at some of the youngsters or new players that came in like Yardi, who he started to get game time now, Panzo. Could we try something different formation wise? A lot of uncertainty will be going into this game now.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's an odd one because, of course, you play your strongest team, then, they might all get injured and you don't want that. But then if you play a weaker team, you lose the game, the fans are disappointed and you maybe lose a bit of momentum. I mean, I know technically you haven't got any at the moment because you lost at Bournemouth, but you've still been in a very good run of form. I think but because that position's left to play for, I mean, I don't know anything about Nottingham Forest, but I'd think you're probably go together and give those players perhaps a bit of a boost if they can win on Saturday, then that'd be a good thing going into the playoffs. But do you think, because a lot, a team loses the playoffs or the final, and then they go on, like Barnsley, first ever team to get in the playoffs and then get relegated. I'm not saying it would be that bad, but do you think you have to go up this season, or are you confident that next season will be strong as well?
I'll be honest with you, our playoff record absolutely shocking. I mean,
Hmm.
since I've been following Forest, it's been four attempts, we lost every time, so I think I'm
Yeah.
not a good luck omen anyway. But I'll be honest with you, when Cooper did come in, I mean, even when we sort of started to get into around the playoffs, I thought if we don't get into the playoffs, then I wouldn't be disappointed because Cooper after summer then, well, you had January, you were after summer, he can assemble more of the squad that he wants,
Hmm.
then I feel like we can go for it next season. But now I feel like we're in there. I feel like that we can go up now. But one of my worries that I do have is next season, obviously Spence will go back, Garner will go back, um, Lowe, Davis. I mean,
Hmm.
the few
That's
of
a
the
lot.
loan signings that will, yeah, there is few loan signings that will be going back, and I do think will be as good as this season. But then when we bought players in like Panzer, we bought players in like Laurier, he started to play a lot more, and he's looking like he's going to be a really good signing. Panzer obviously he will be a bit more like a backup to like Cook and that. Um, Obviously we've got a Jade who's not played as much, but could be a potential replacement for Garner if he don't return, because depending on what man you want to do with him. Um, Davis, I know Philly don't want to keep him, but then apparently Gerard want 10 million for him now because he's doing so well. So it's that bit of we have got the players to actually replace them. I mean, Sil's just been a revelation since he came. He scored like 8 goals in 400, 500 minutes, which is not a bad return
Hmm.
for someone who's not had much game time as like Davies who came in. But we have got a good like finish off a squad to actually build on. And if we do get players like Lowe, Garner, Davis, Spence, if they don't go to a Premier League club, we have got a really good base of a really good squad.
Mm. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess maybe now that you've said that you've got so many of these quality loan players, it'd be really disappointing if you don't go up this season. They're not necessarily all going to stay because some of them, because they've been so good recently, maybe they will go to a Premier League team and then you won't get them. But I think after seeing how well Forest have done this season, and Steve Cooper's clearly one of the best managers in the league because he's got to 3 consecutive playoffs. I can't remember. That's a rare thing to do in the Championship for certain. It's such an unpredictable league that I'm sure he will have a strong season. But will you win the playoffs? No. Do you think you'll win?
I'll be honest, yeah. It depending because I
You
feel
don't
like
know.
last couple of it's unsure because Sheffield United won. It was got the draw and we missed Dawson. So the overall one we were 2-0 up and which was battled it. Blackpool, Billy Davis didn't really help them out then. He was Swansea. Obviously, we lost to them. And I do feel like we will win the playoffs this time because I feel like we got probably the best manager in the Championship in people. He will set
Mm-hmm.
us up perfect.
And he's lost the last 2 playoffs, so maybe he's
Yeah,
learned. And he's done one step better at Swansea. It was the semi-final, and then he got to the final, didn't he? So maybe I think with Brentford, and I think was it Fulham the year before that. There's been like a clear winner, but I think it's quite close this year because Huddersfield have got the same amount of points as you, but it's not got. I think it'll probably be you or Huddersfield.
that's what I mean. I mean, Huddersfield.
I'd like Luton to go up,
This season.
but yeah. But we all love the
Yeah,
playoffs, don't we?
yeah, definitely. I mean, Huddersfield been a different flavour this season to what they was last season, and I know change manager done it. I mean, I look around at them playoffs and I think it's going to be tough for whoever gets in because Mill's fighting Middlesbrough, Sheffield United, quite a few teams. I mean, I've always said it that I just don't want it to be like Middlesbrough 6th and Sheffield United 5th or something like that because if they both say like Middlesbrough 6th, we won't get Spence for 2 games. Then if we get through
Oh
to the
right.
final and Sheffield United win, we won't have low. But we seem to be
Ah.
combating that well with Colback at left and back because I mean Colback's a centre midfielder, but he's slotted in that well at left wing back. It's like I mean I read something the other night saying I've missed Lowe since Lowe got injured because Colback been that good there. It's like you do question it.
I suppose those players would probably like it if it was Forest and one of those teams in the final, because then maybe no matter who wins, they'll be bought by the other club or their parent club will go up. So it'd be good for them. But that's a very
Yeah,
interesting kind of
there's always
element.
that. Yeah, definitely. There's always that element as well. I mean, and all the loan players have said that they want to stay at Forest. I mean, they said that they're enjoying it with the fan base, Coopers. Um, they enjoy playing with people, under people, and that relationship that they have with him, it's absolutely. They all said that they love it. So it's a good thing that if their loan players want to stay, it's just going to show how good things have been this season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
go
go
on,
ahead.
carry on.
Well, I mean, we've got a few loan players, but I don't think we've got Nathan Baxter, who will be in goal, who until the Bristol game last week we thought was fantastic, but then he made a few mistakes and then we conceded 5. But and then we've got Dishon Bernard, who's on loan from Man United, but he's hardly played. So we've pretty much got, if we can sign Baxter, then going into next season, this squad plus 3 or 4 just decent championship players and proper striker that's going to score more than like 5 goals, then I think we'll have a pretty. But I just predicted on Twitter we might finish about 12th. So maybe the playoffs isn't a completely outlandish claim for maybe in 2 seasons' time if things keep going. But it all depends, and I think it'd be good if we could get a good result on Saturday going into next season, finish the season on a high, and show that even this squad, which is a lot of League One players, could challenge the top teams. But it all depends on the day, really. But I think it'll be a big crowd, so that might help.
Yeah, we're taking 3,500 on Saturday. Before last night, a lot of people were going, obviously, with it being last game, and we had a promotion party, but not. I think everyone's just going up there thinking, nah, let's build on it and let's get behind the team and be like, let's do it like that in all season.
I mean, that's been all over City Twitter at the moment, that a lot of Forest fans have been trying to get tickets in the home end, which has upset a lot of Hull fans because you shouldn't be doing that. And I think there's been like they've put in different protocols that you have to prove you're from Hull or something if you're buying a ticket. And then of course there will be some poor Hull fans from Nottingham who genuinely want to support Hull and go to the game who might not be able to go. So that's been a whole drama. But I guess if it'll be much less entertaining for the Forest fans in the home end because there's nothing to play for now, really. So I guess serves them right in a way.
Oh, it does. I always said that I don't agree with that. I mean, I see why fans do it. I mean, I bet a load of fans do it for all the different clubs. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, I completely like get it. But then I won't do it because I'm there to support. You're there to
You can't
support.
chant, really, can you? You can't,
I,
because then you get thrown out because it's obvious. It would be difficult if it was the the promotion deciding game. You can't stay quiet on a game like that. Although you might be able to do it if it was a maybe a slightly more dead rubber game like it will be on Saturday. Maybe people will be able to stay quiet more. I don't know.
yeah, definitely. I do agree more on that. I mean, who should we be looking out for on Saturday from Hull? I mean, I know you guys got George Sunderman, who obviously made his name on Sunderland to our die, but I mean, he's like probably the only like standout one that had to call from that Hull. So who your main player?
Well, Lewis Potter's just won, I think, 3 different Player of the Season awards Tuesday night. Tuesday night. So he's not definitely been our best player because last year, when we got promoted, Honeyman was definitely our best player, and it has been very solid this season. But the last maybe 5 games, he's not been as when we just switched to 3-5-2 around November, October time, and he scored a lot of goals then. But yeah, if we do win the game, it will be because probably Lewis Potter's come up with a moment or two of brilliance. Maybe similar sort of prospect to Brennan Johnson in a way. Both coming up from League One and both having a very good season. And he's scored 11 goals, and he's probably going to leave in the summer to the Premier League. I think maybe he's not ready for the Premier League just yet because he's not quite as good as Bowen was when he left. But they're slightly different players, really, because Bowen is just an out-and-out goal scorer, really. He's playing up front now, whereas Lewis Potter's much better at, on the ball with his skills and his dribbling, which Bowen was good at as well, to be honest. But yeah, Lewis Potter's definitely the one to watch out for. And then, if he scores on Saturday, we might just get a bit more money for him in the summer, which would be a nice thing, I guess.
Yeah, I agree to it. I mean, Brennan Johnson has been really good this season. I mean, we're starting him as number 10 then, Hooton were very up and down with him. Like, he wanted him one first team, but he weren't really giving him that position where, like, oh, you can play up front, you're playing up front, you try and swap and change him around where Cooper, he played him as in a part of the front three, like a false number 10. But since then, we sort of changed our formation to a 3-4-1-2, and he's been playing like up front with Davis, also with Jordan, and since he settled down in that position, he's just been like a revelation, like getting involved in that many goals. It's like I think it's like the top one in the league or second in the top four divisions to be like the most goals involvement this season, which for a lad who's it's his first proper season in the championship, it's unreal. I mean,
Mm.
I've always said about winning like if we go up, he'll stay with us. If we don't go up, I'd be worried about him going, but I don't think if he goes to a big Premier League club, he won't be playing as much as he is now because obviously they were at four class players and in more rather like saying championship, get better, get more involvement, then go for it then because he'd be so much better player that like in a season or two than he is now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it'll be worth more money to Forest as well. But then, it's a difficult thing. Like Bowen, he waited maybe 6 months or 18 months, more than he could have. And then, he's gone straight into a very good team at West Ham, whereas Lewis Potter is a bit more raw. And, because you don't want to go to the Premier League, hardly play, and then lose that momentum, and then end up back on loan in the Championship, and you've wasted, a whole year, and you've not, improved. So, Brennan Johnson and Lewis Potter will be similar sort of prospects in the summer. It'll be interesting to see how they do if they do leave.
Definitely, I do agree. I mean, there've been quite a few players that have done that over years, and since then, them sort of players not really got back to the heights of where they've been. I mean, Bowen's probably done the right thing, like to stay where we are at Hull for that so long. Then, because that made him become that sort of better player. And obviously, you look at him now at West Ham, and you're like, well, he's doing really well for
Yeah,
himself.
could be in the England squad. Definitely, but Lewis Potter, I don't see him being in the England squad just yet. But he is an England under-21 international, so we're very proud of that. That's been one of the main achievements this season, getting an England player for the first time in ages. So, yeah, we can be
No, I
proud
mean,
of him.
we had it. I mean, Jimmy Garner's been in the under 21s quite a bit throughout the season. I mean, Jed Spence got into the under 21 squad. Brennan Johnson's a fully Wales international now. He's playing regular with Bale up front. Ethan Ufarth, he's going to the World Cup. Laurier, since he's been in, he's going to the World Cup. So, international wise, we have had a really good season in terms of internationals, which will only boost like what people do in and Forest. I mean, it well even for you guys as well, getting your players into the England squad. I mean, it's just going to show how much hard work that's going into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think our academy is definitely one of our strong points. We've got Greaves and Lewis Potter and Fleming, who are all starting 11 players. We've got Cartwright, who's a good goalkeeper, who's played 2 games this season. And we've got a fair few others on loan. And yeah, with the new ownership, hopefully we can keep that same quality of academy players coming through, because that's definitely been, with Bowen before, we probably wouldn't have had, we'd be in a much worse situation if we didn't have the academy we did have under the Alams, and we wouldn't have players like Bowen. We would have, had a lot less money and probably wouldn't have gone up when we did, and probably been relegated sooner as well. So hopefully in the summer. And it's one thing that we lost Bowen and we thought, oh, how are we ever going to replace him? we had Lewis Potter, and now we're thinking, we don't have, we might not have Lewis Potter after the summer, but if we've got academy players, maybe we could find someone like him, a younger age, to replace him as well. So that's definitely one of our strong points, I think.
Definitely, we've got a really good academy as well. That we have got quite a few players coming through the
Hmm.
academy as well. We have done over the years, and we're similar to that whole. We have got the players that are coming through. I mean, we sold like £55 million worth of talent over the last few years, which I mean, I've kind of not with him much since he gone to Spain. Bertino stolen goals since he changed his name to Diaz.
Hmm.
Um, so I mean, there have been players that coming through that are you like, oh wow, they're gonna be some players. I mean, they've gone to other clubs and not really excelled like they did do at Forest, but at the minute we got players like Lawson, we got Dale Taylor who was on the bench on sat there. We got Wolves one who's been in and around first team for a while now, but not really sustained it like Brennan. So Conte used made his debut earlier in the season, so we have had some success this season. And the good thing about Cooper is he's having these players in training around the first team, which will benefit them. And when they do drop down to like the under 23s, they are getting that sort of like better at playing. I mean, even Andy Reid has under 23s coach, and he's been there, done it with the Forest. So it's been like really, really good.
Hmm. Yeah, cool. I don't really have much to add to that, but yeah, I think academies are definitely very important to championship teams, especially if because there's such a big gap financially now between the championship and the Premier League. You've got to rely on these younger players coming through, perhaps if you're getting promoted, especially because it's so much harder to recruit as a promoted team than it used to be. Because a proper, I remember in 2014 we spent 14 million on two experienced Premier League strikers. 14 million to someone who's had a good season in the Championship, and he's inexperienced and he's just had one good year, whereas you used to get your proper Premier League players. So it's it'll be tough because most of the money will probably go on spending it on the loan players if you do go up. So it'll be tough.
Definitely, I do agree. I mean, I wanted to ask about that because obviously, with the parachute payments down to the relegated team, I mean, that goes between the top end and the bottom menu does rely on academy players and probably getting really, really good boarding buys. I mean, they done quite well to build there this season, but how do you guys feel about the teams that get the parachute payments?
Well, I think that Fulham and Norwich getting promoted and relegated every year is just proof that
Mm,
they almost need their own mini league of like 4 or 5 teams, with maybe Bournemouth, maybe Sheffield United and West Brom in there as well. Um, I guess it's clearly very important to have parachute payments. Otherwise, these clubs getting relegated would go bust because of the money in the Premier League and the contrast. But there clearly needs to be some sort of uh, thing done about it soon, because the gulf is just so massive. Um,
mm.
and Fulham have spent so much more than we've spent our squad's probably worth, or we've spent about 4 million, 5 million on our team, and that's Fulham have spent what 230 million on their players. Is that right? Is it something like that? So
It's something
that's
like
farming, isn't
that.
it? That's over like
Yeah,
it could be almost like 100 times as much. It's not very good maths, but it's yeah, they do something about it. But then sometimes, you know, because it's difficult both ways, because these teams are so much better than the other ones in the Championship, but they're not as good as the other teams in the Premier League as well. So they just keep going up and down. So it's not really
I
good
mean,
for them either.
I mean, I had this discussion over the weekend about Mitrovic. I mean,
Mm.
we're saying about like Mitrovic scoring so many goals this season. I mean, it's like when you've been in the Premier League, you don't know if it's because of the sound of football, the players that are around him didn't suit to what he does. But when he's in the Premier League, he's just like an probably a average Championship striker. But when he does play in the Championship, he's like a top 12 Premier League striker. It's like
Yeah.
it's really weird. It's like they know like balance between the Premier League or the Championship. I mean, you good in one but average in the other one.
Mm. I mean, clearly he gets more chances in the Championship, but he is a. I guess because Fulham were just so bad when they got promoted last time, that doesn't help. He did have a pretty good season a few years ago in the Premier League. I think he got like 11 goals or something. So there is definitely a player there, but I mean, he's been ridiculously good this season because poor Ivan Toney, didn't he break the record last year, the Championship goal scoring record, and that stood for less than a year. Because and it's been beaten by at least 11 goals, and some strikers don't score 11 goals in like 2 or 3 years. So yeah, I think Fulham must be really dreadful next season if they don't capitalize on having a striker that's just scored 43 goals in a season. So I think they'll probably do a bit better, but who knows? They might just be getting relegated again.
Yeah, he knows nowadays with
Hmm.
them teams.
Yeah, it's probably
What's your
enough
score?
about Fulham.
Yeah.
Yeah, score prediction.
Yeah, just score prediction for Saturday. I mean, I'd be quite interested to hear to.
Yeah. How about a nice, entertaining 2-2 draw? Because then we get to score some goals, and then Forest get a nice away point. Respect the point. That'll do. Maybe
Uh,
2-2.
um,
I don't think it'll be 2-2, but that just seems like a nice score. It could be anything. I just don't want to lose 5-0 again.
I mean, funny enough, the popular scoreline on this channel is 2-1. I mean,
Mm.
most people, I mean, so you're about bang on average for score predictions with I mean, I think if you asked me this yesterday, I
Mm.
think knowing that we're going into last night's game, I would have been like, if we would have won, or even if we did win last night, um, I think that we should be winning it like 3-1, something like that,
Mm.
put some goals in. But after last night, I'm a bit dubious on scoreline. It just depending on what sort of team we put out, if I'm being honest with you.
Mm.
I think it will be Swan, don't get me wrong. I feel like that with Cooper, we've done it all season, especially with the Cup one. We've been playing that Swan this side all season. I
Mm.
mean, we have got a couple of knocks like Colbert, Surridge, he's carrying a knot. Colbert, yeah, he has been. So I think those bit of changes I could see us doing is, if we do, it's them two. And I think I'll probably take a 2-1 or 2-2. I think we won't lose the game. I don't think neither team will lose it because both of them are sort of like know what they're doing.
Mm.
But I think it will just play it out throughout the game um like a mid-table game to be fair.
Yeah, maybe. There's not much in it, but I'm
And
looking forward to it.
I just got to answer this question with you. I've been asked this quite a few times in the chat. I'm drinking Pepsi Max.
All
There've
right.
been quite, there've been quite a few people thinking I'm on shorts or thinking I'm drinking some alcoholic drink. So I
Yes,
just
I thought
want,
so too.
pardon?
Did you see the comment that came up on the screen? It was balmy. You're muted.
I thought that, and there've been couples saying John Prescott, Simon Cowell, Coronation Street on in 5 minutes.
Oh yeah. Shall we get a
Um,
move on then?
yeah. Apparently they picked the seats for Wembley. Um, yeah, the chat been quite colourful today with other comments about footballing. Uh, but yeah, I'd like to say thank you for Nathaniel for coming on.
Yes, thank you. It's always fun doing these guest appearances on other pods.
I mean, do check out Nathaniel's Twitter. It's on this on the page anyway. Um, and obviously do check out the Two On and Back podcast. We had them on for our own game. I can't remember the guy who did it now, bless him. But obviously all the fans and they're all passionate about all on that. So do go and check them out. Obviously the whole on Back pod is in the title, so do go and check them out. So I'd like to say thank you for watching, guys, and goodbye.